Hey guys, today we're going to be doing page 118 and 119 in our social studies lesson 3. We're going to be finishing up lesson 3, and next week we'll be doing a social studies quiz on Tuesday. So here we go. It's critical thinking skills. So obviously we're going to be thinking, so it might be just a little challenging, but I think you can do it. So we're comparing points of view. We've done comparing already in reading. So we're going to take those skills and compare two people's point of view. All right, so comparing points of view. So read along with me. It is important to identify the point of view of a text when you read. This will help you understand why the author has written the text and what she or he wants you to learn, believe, or do. When you read two or more texts on the same topic, compare and contrast their points of view. Look for main ideas as well as words or examples that are used to influence the reader. Now, let me just really quickly before we continue on, if you think about points of view, if we talked about, if I asked you a question like, what is the best pet to have, we're all going to have different points of view or different reasons why we think that one pet is better than the other. So maybe their point of view is trying to convince you to believe one side over another, or see something from one side or another, or understand something from one side or another. Let's keep reading. In 2016, voters in San Francisco considered a measure that would have allowed 16-year-olds to vote in local elections. Not everyone agreed that this was a good idea. People in favor said that because 16-year-olds paid taxes, work jobs, and drive cars, they should be able to vote. Opponents, so the people who are opposite of them, believe that 16-year-olds are too young to make such an informed decision, and in the end, the measure was not approved. Below, read two official opinions about the issue from the San Francisco election office. Then, use the graphic organizer on the next page to describe the point of view. Well, you're not going to use the next page. You're actually going to use the Google Slides. So here's point of view 1. Point of view 1 says, we need to do all we can to increase the voter participation, both now and in the long run. The earlier someone casts their votes, the more likely they are to continue participating as a voter. Furthermore, research shows that 16-year-olds possess the same level of civic knowledge as a 21-year-old. That was the official argument in favor of 16-year-olds voting from the San Francisco elections office. Point of view number 2 says, changing existing voting laws in hopes of finding less worldly wise citizens does not seem to be prudent, which means wise, to reduce the average education and experience of San Francisco's voters might be a really dumb idea. The people pushing this so-called reform just means change, want younger and more trusting voters who will ask fewer questions and have less education. Those are the official arguments against San Francisco elections office. And against the 16-year-olds being able to elect or vote in a election. So let me I know point of view 2 was a little bit challenging with words. So let me just go through it again really quick. Changing existing voting laws in hope to find less worldly wise citizens. So they're trying to say, what he's trying to say is, if you allow 16-year-olds to vote, they're not as smart or know as much, I guess you can say, as someone who's able to vote at 18. Does not seem to be prudent, which is wise, to reduce the average education experience of the San Francisco voters. Might be a really dumb idea. The people pushing the so-called reform want younger, more trusting voters who will ask fewer questions and have less education. So they're thinking that it is not an intelligent idea. So to reduce the average education experience of San Francisco voters might be a really dumb idea. So they're thinking at 16 years old, you haven't had as much experience as if you had at 18 years old. People pushing the so-called reform means to change, want younger, more trusting voters who will ask fewer questions and have less education. So it seems like the person who is saying this point of view too is saying that people who are 16 years old are a lot more, have a lot more ability to be influenced to change their mind or to sway in one way or another. So what I'd like you guys to do is to go back to the slides. Here are the slides right here. So this is the beginning, chapter 1, lesson 1. And that's where the video is. And here is point of view number 1. Type in there, what is point of view number 1? I don't want you to write word for word. Give me some bullet points. Point of view number 1, they think that voting should happen, that 16-year-old should happen, or whatever it may be. Give me their supporting reasons. And then point of view number 2, what are their supporting reasons? What are their reasons why they shouldn't vote? And then you want to ask that last question. Which opinion do you agree with? Explain why and include the details from that point of view you agree with. And you're going to type in that information right there. Okay? Good luck and have fun.